So this woman has shot to fame recently for refusing to wear a mask. This means that we all have varying degrees of psychopathy within us. Into the room will just scare you. Hello Channel NITT viewers, welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. I am DS, your psychologist, and today we're going to talk about psychopaths. In two of our previous episodes, we have already talked about serial killers. So before we introduce more serial killer episodes, we must at this point mention psychopaths. This is because many people actually confuse serial killers with psychopaths. So the purpose of this episode is to tell you more about what psychopath is as a concept and whether psychopaths and serial killers are the same. However, as a channel, we do not only want to produce psychological videos, but videos with a very interesting slant and topic that you cannot find anywhere else. So if you like what you're getting, do consider subscribing to us. So in Channel NITT, we always try to do something that is different. So this episode itself is something different because we have the A and B format. The A format is meant for Singaporean viewers because the woman on the thumbnail, the international viewers will not know who the hell she is. So if you are a Singaporean viewer and you watch this A format, the B format is basically the same video except that the woman has been put out of the discussion. So no need to watch the B format lah, huh? Many people use the word psychopath very loosely to describe a person who is crazy. So if you see a person who is crazy in Singapore, you will say, psychopath lah! But should you go down to Google search and type the word psychopath into the search bar, this is what you're gonna get. According to the Google dictionary, a psychopath is a person suffering from chronic mental disorder with abnormal or violent social behavior. As you can see, this definition is very generic and does not represent the psychological definition of a psychopath. So I am going to give you the full definition of a psychopath. And at the end of this video, I will also tell you whether psychopaths tend to be serial killers. Now in psychology, a psychopath is a person who may be suffering from a disorder known as the antisocial personality disorder. In psychology, a psychopath may be defined by the following characteristics. So if you look at this list and you see someone who fulfills at least some of this criterion, then it is likely that he or she may qualify as a psychopath. So first, a psychopath is a person with antisocial personality. A person with antisocial behaviors will tend to engage in behaviors that are not beneficial for the community or the society. Usually, they will perform activities that tend to harm others. Another characteristic of the psychopath is that they tend to have a disregard for rules of the society. They also have a lack of concern for welfare of others. They seem to do what they want and when they want. Many a times, a psychopath may take advantage of other people for their own needs or personal gains. They also lack remorse for their misdeeds. A psychopath is also untroubled by anxiety, and they are undeterred by the threat of punishment. This is also why psychopaths tend to re-offend. So besides antisocial, three other adjectives that will describe the psychopaths would be Let's learn adjectives with DS. Adjectives used to describe a psychopath. Number 1. Impulsive. Number 2. Irresponsible. Number 3. Daring. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Learn Adjectives with DS. Goodbye. So after seeing the list of characteristics that define a psychopath, many Singaporean viewers would have a candidate in mind. Of course, you are influenced by the thumbnail, right? So this woman has shot to fame recently for refusing to wear a mask during the circuit breaker period in Singapore. and she has also openly defied orders or requests for her to put on a mask, and she also allegedly assaulted a cop. Well, let's look back at the characteristics of the psychopath again. She definitely has a disregard for rules of the society, and her persistence and insistence on not wearing a mask poses a threat to the community. So this criterion, or a lack of concern for the welfare of others, is also ticked. And yes, she does what she wants and when she wants. I am not too sure about the taking advantage of people because it does not show in this episode. However, she is definitely undeterred by threat of punishment, and the fact that she is a reoffender suggests that she is not remorseful of her mistake. Therefore, she has fulfilled a large list of all these criterion that define a psychopath. So is she a psychopath? What would you say? Psychopathy is a disorder, and people who are psychopaths tend to be suffering from the antisocial personality disorder. According to research, 1% of the human population is psychopathic. If you move into the prisons, then 25% of the inmates are psychopathic. Well, this comes as no surprise because psychopaths tend to commit crimes serious enough for them to be imprisoned. But psychopathy is not a necessary condition for one to be a serial killer. In fact, most psychopaths do not end up becoming serial killers. However, many serial killers are psychopaths. But not all serial killers are psychopaths. We have got 2 more serial killer episodes lined up, and you can expect them to be released very soon, so stay tuned. Some researchers and psychologists believe that psychopathy is a spectrum. This means that we all have varying degrees of psychopathy within us. If you have a friend who likes to play pranks on others, then this friend may have a higher tendency to be psychopathic than the people around you. A psychopath is a person who likes to only care about the enjoyment for the now and a total disregard of whether their actions are going to hurt others. So they may drag a chair and let the annoying person just sit and fall to the ground, and they derive a lot of pleasure doing so. They will not care whether the person is going to be hurt, they only enjoy seeing the person fall down. So you may have some of your friends who always like to come and give you scares, stand behind the doors, and then ha! Ouch! I got scared myself. So there are some friends, right, who like to hide behind the door, and then suddenly when you walk into the room, it will just scare you. That is a psychopathic tendency. Now this is a more overt type of psychopathic tendency. There may also be some more concealed type of psychopathic tendencies. Sometimes our hidden psychopathic tendencies may also exhibit itself in very discreet ways. For example, if you really dislike a particular person, for example, your very mean boss, and you try to make him a cup of coffee, you may add in some of your personal fluids into the coffee. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, those people who have done it before, you may have psychopathic tendencies. As we have mentioned before, psychopaths tend to be irresponsible and impulsive. They tend to engage in very risky behaviors such as gambling. So in a way, they are more likely to go and make a killing than kill. So how psychopathic are you? Do comment below. Do you acknowledge your own dark psychopathic sides? I do. I am evil. Not convincing. Anyway, we've come to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, do consider subscribing if you have not subscribed. So for all my existing subscribers and viewers, thank you so much for supporting our channel. We will produce more interesting episodes down, so you can expect more fun. So I'm going to sign off now. I look forward to see you in my next episode. So goodbye.